Okay, so let's dig into this. Emotional intelligence, EQ. I mean, we hear that term constantly, don't
Oh,
we?
absolutely. It's a major buzzword. You see it everywhere.
Right. Top skill employers want it.
Right.
But, the source material we're looking at for this deep dive, it suggests there's actually something, well, something deeper,
Hmm.
more foundational.
That's exactly right. We're moving beyond just EQ to what this source, which is excerpts from Susan Packard's Fully Human, calls emotional fitness. EQF.
Emotional fitness, EQF. Okay.
Yeah.
And the way the book describes it, it sounds less like a skill and more like a state of being.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's about steadiness, balance, accountability, trustworthiness.
So not just reading a room well in one meeting, but being consistently
Yeah.
solid, not those flash in the pan types.
Precisely. It's described quite powerfully, actually, as a transcendent place of mind, heart, and spirit, something that can even get us past our own self-centeredness.
Wow. Okay, that feels pretty significant, especially now. So our mission here, using these excerpts as our guide, is to really unpack the three core steps the author outlines for building this emotional fitness.
Yeah, it's framed as a path to becoming fully human. And hopefully going through it together like this gives you a way to grasp these ideas, maybe even faster than the author did through her own
A
experience.
fast track to fully human, potentially. Okay, so where does this journey start?
Well, according to the source, it fundamentally starts by looking inward. You have to be willing.
Willingness. That takes us straight into part one then.
Mm.
And the core idea sounds pretty direct. You can't really move forward in work or life unless you're willing to look at what's actually holding you back.
Mm-hmm. And willingness isn't passive. It's presented as the action needed to stop being stuck.
Okay, action. And the first action is,
Self-discovery. It's about gaining real insight into your own nature, really understanding your internal world so you can eventually, manage your emotions more effectively.
and the source doesn't pull any punches here. It says this takes courage, real bravery.
It really does. To honestly look at your thinking patterns, your deep-seated beliefs, your opinions, even your gut emotional reactions.
And facing those old stories we tell ourselves, those habits that maybe worked once but don't anymore, and being willing to actually let them go.
Exactly. And that process inevitably brings you up against what the source calls inner wounds or emotional blocks.
Scars, basically, from childhood or maybe adulthood experiences.
Yeah, things like feeling unseen or maybe being overly sensitive, going through divorce, getting fired, dealing with shame, betrayal, resentment. These things leave marks.
And these aren't just minor issues, are they? The book suggests they can really block healthy relationships.
They absolutely can. And it mentions how incredibly good we are as humans at self-deceit, hiding these things even from ourselves.
So avoid the pain, I guess.
Right. There's a really powerful story shared from Father Greg Boyle's work about a young man named Jose.
Oh, I remember reading that part. It was intense.
It really was. His mother basically abandoned him at an orphanage, just said, I found this kid. And Jose carried that deep wound, along with physical scars from later abuse, that he literally hid under layers of clothes.
Wow. Just layers of T-shirts to hide the scars.
Hmm.
That image, it really drives home the depth of that pain.
It does. And the source cites psychologists saying our biggest fear isn't death, it's actually abandonment. Jose's story makes that feel very real.
But his journey also shows healing is possible, right? Through Father G's program.
Yes, confronting that wound with support, finding community, it led him toward healing and finding purpose. It shows the power of willingness.
But facing that kind of pain, it's understandable why people might try to avoid it.
Definitely. The source talks about numbing out,
Right.
escaping.
Through what? Like obvious things.
Sometimes obvious, like substance abuse, but also things like workaholism, obsessive shopping, even excessive exercise. Anything to dull the edge of difficult feelings or a confusing past.
And the stats mentioned are pretty sobering. High substance abuse rates, even linking higher income to more drinking. It's not just one group.
No, it's widespread. And the author notes, drawing from personal experience too, that often you need outside professional help to kind of reset that default urge for more numbing, whatever form it takes.
Facing fear is another big part of this willingness piece, isn't it?
Huge. Fear of failure is a common one mentioned, with examples like Mary Ellen Brewington's anxiety about her family business or Anissa Telwar using self-help books as an anchor.
And things like social anxiety, panic attacks.
Yeah, Jerry Fried's work using cognitive behavior therapy, or CBT, is mentioned there, helping people manage those fears.
Right, CBT. That's about changing thought patterns to change reactions, basically.
Essentially, yes,
Yeah.
identifying and challenging those unhelpful thoughts. The source also touches on codependency, that lack of self-reliance where you become passive, letting others run your life. Willingness is the key to seeing other possibilities.
Okay, so you're starting to see this stuff. How do you actually process it?
Aye.
The source has a cycle for this.
It does. A really practical three-step process. Name it, claim it, leave it behind.
Name it, claim it, leave it behind. Okay, let's break that down. Naming it. That sounds like the first hurdle.
It often is. It means giving that pain, that fear, that trauma a name, making it real instead of keeping it hidden in the shadows, acknowledging it exists.
Okay, so you name it, then claim it. What does that mean? Is it about blame?
No, not blame. It's about acknowledging its impact on you, owning that it's part of your story. Like Jose taking off those extra shirts, he was claiming his wounds, his history in front of others. The author says facing hidden things actually opens up new paths.
Right. And then leave it behind. Does that mean forget it ever happened?
Not quite. It's more like the source uses the metaphor of grief, how the raw wound eventually scars over. The scar remains a reminder, but the jagged, painful edges, those you can leave behind.
Like Barbara, the example of the woman who got fired. She named the shock, claimed the reality, and even though her ego was bruised.
Exactly. It opened her up to better opportunities she wouldn't have considered otherwise. She left the acute pain behind, carrying the experience forward differently.
This all sounds incredibly difficult to do alone, though.
Oh, absolutely. And the source really emphasizes the importance of company with a capital C. You need others on this path. Dialogue is key.
Finding a sharing partner, like Parker Palmer suggests, someone to talk things through with.
Yes, exactly. Or Matt's story, his companion suggesting he help elderly people. That simple act of turning outward, prompted by dialogue, pulled him out of his own head.
And professional help is a big part of this company, too.
Strongly recommended. Therapists, counselors, presented almost like physical therapy for your emotions, helping strengthen those injured parts. And groups, too.
Therapy groups share circles. The author talks about her own experience in a recovery group.
Right. Feeling safe, feeling less alone because everyone shared a similar struggle underneath. She describes the honesty, the relief, even the laughter in recognizing shared human craziness. We're all crazy together. That shared realization can be freeing.
So willingness involves self-discovery, facing fears, processing pain. Are there specific practices recommended?
Yes, part 1 introduces mindfulness and meditation as key tools.
Okay, mindfulness. We hear that a lot, too. What's the core idea here?
It's about focused, present moment awareness. John Kabat-Zinn's idea of minding all your senses, really being in your life as it happens.
It's like the Alaskan fishing guide story. Bemused by tourists rushing around instead of just seeing the amazing scenery.
Exactly. That's a perfect illustration of a lack of mindfulness, just rushing, not experiencing.
And meditation, how does that fit in?
Meditation helps you detach a bit from that constant chatter, the monkey mind. It allows the right brain, the creative, intuitive side to sort of breathe. It creates space.
Space for what?
For learning, compassion, connection, trust, gratitude. The source mentions contemplative prayer, too, using a sacred word as a kind of listening prayer.
The author's silent retreat story sounded challenging but profound. Fighting the silence at first, then finding value in it.
Right. And these two practices, mindfulness and meditation, they work together. Meditation helps train the mind, which fuels your ability to be mindful and present throughout your day, managing what Thomas Merton called the brutality of the mind's distractions.
Okay, so how does all this inner work, willingness, self-knowledge, connect back to, say, our work lives, our careers?
It connects directly to finding what the source calls your job fit. Finding work that doesn't just pay the bills, but genuinely lights you up.
More than just skills, then.
Much more. The best fits combine your gifts, interests, the company culture, and what's termed soul work, work that aligns with your deeper sense of purpose.
As opposed to just chasing the paycheck or prestige or power.
Exactly. It's about owning your choices based on what your heart is telling you, not just external validation.
The Enneagram is mentioned here as a tool.
Yeah, as a way to understand your core motivations and energy type, body, heart, or head. Knowing your type, like the author being a 3 leaning 2, can help you see your patterns, like maybe workaholism and how they affect your fit and even trust building.
And company culture plays a big role too, the GM versus Google example.
Right. One quiet and office-based, the other maybe seeming chaotic but alive with ideas. The environment itself is key to fit.
And it's okay if finding that fit takes time. Trial and error.
Absolutely. Early careers often like that. The source highlights people like Julia Child starting later, or Leanne Hennin choosing soul over just salary. Finding fit involves risk sometimes.
The key message seems to be, listen to your gut. Your heart knows things your mind might resist.
That's a central theme. And part one wraps up by mentioning practical exercises too, ways to manage anger, practice self-acceptance, talk things out, concrete actions for willingness.
Okay, so willingness lays the groundwork. Understanding yourself. Where does that lead next in building emotional fitness?
It leads directly into part two, trust. Because once you start being more open and aware internally, it changes how you connect externally.
And trust, the source says, has this almost uncanny power. Binding teams, transforming companies.
Yeah, HGTV's success is used as a prime example, built on that intangible trust. But critically, it emphasizes trust isn't just a feeling. It's built through consistent, reliable actions.
Like the story of the author messing up the budget early on.
Exactly. And her CFO, Jim Clayton, his immediate response wasn't blame. It was, no sweat, Suze. Let's you and I get in early tomorrow. We'll fix it together. That builds trust instantly.
That's powerful. Or the example of Bobby Hood at Cherokee Distributing.
Right. Described as authentic, reliable. His preference for talking person to person, not just quick texts, showed he valued clear human connection, which is fundamental for trust.
This brings up that tension again. Technology versus human connection.
The source argues tech can be a barrier. It's efficient, sure, but you can hide behind a screen. It makes communication feel disposable sometimes.
Whereas face-to-face, even if it's messier,
is described as heart to heart. You're breathing the same air, picking up cues, engaging fully. It's foundational for real trust.
and there's that concern mentioned about kids growing up on screens needing to learn how to read emotions, that universities are actually teaching in-person interaction skills.
Yeah, like Carnegie Mellon. It highlights how vital that face-to-face element is for learning and bonding, something we might be losing.
What really stood out for me in this section was the role of vulnerability.
Oh, huge. Admitting you're not perfect, you don't know everything, you're stuck.
That act of being vulnerable, the source calls it a massive facilitator of trust.
And norms around this are changing in the workplace.
Seems so. Younger generations might be more open, and some studies cited suggest men might even be opening up more than women in some ways. The crucial part is how vulnerability is received with listening, with assurance. That makes it safe.
This trust dynamic also plays out in leadership, right? The idea of followership. Absolutely. Great leaders build trust by empowering their teams. And Robert Kelly's concept of followership is key here. Leaders need followers who are independent thinkers, critical partners, not just yes men. That requires mutual trust.
Building trust with peers, though. That sounds like it could be the trickiest. Competition and all that.
It often is. The anonymous survey example is striking someone using an open role to help a peer grow, taking a personal risk for the team's good. That's a powerful trust-building act.
So it involves taking time to actually know people, even those who seem different or maybe standoffish.
Yes, understanding introverts versus extroverts, like the Angela Teague example, it's essential for inclusion and ultimately benefits everyone. And starting that trust right from the interview, like Shalique Cordero did.
EQ Fit leaders, then, are like the chief trust ambassadors.
That's a great way to put it. They set the tone, create psychologically safe environments where people can be real. HGTV, PNC are given as positive examples.
Contrasted with the jerk boss archetype.
Oh, right. Often driven by ego, like the Travis Kalanick Uber example cited. Emotional immaturity at the top breeds distrust. High IQ isn't enough if ego runs rampant.
And this is where willingness and trust really link up, creating a cycle.
Exactly. Willingness leads to actions that build trust. Experiencing trust makes you feel safer, which encourages more willingness. It feeds itself.
So leaders who've done that inner work gain self-awareness.
Are better equipped to build trust. Paul Pullman talking openly about failures, Ellen Kullman being highly attuned to her surroundings, Jarl Moan handling tough issues transparently at NPR. These actions stem from self-awareness and build massive trust.
The importance of physically bringing people together keeps coming up too.
Strongly advocated. The HGTV team meetings, even if sometimes tedious, built relationships. You learn how people tick when you're physically present.
Even the tech expert, Dr. Andrew Moore, saw trust breaking down with only remote work.
Yeah, after just 2 months. An us versus them dynamic emerged in emails. It underlines that in-person interaction is crucial for bonding and maintaining healthy collaboration.
And dealing with problems, like Ellen Kullman's backdoor issue at DuPont, better to bring people together to discuss it.
Definitely. More effective than just a top-down memo. And investing in connection, like Anissa Telwar's monthly team gatherings, is seen as a crucial investment, not an expense.
Even difficult conversations can build trust.
If approached correctly, yes. Joyce Russell coaching the staffer with a harsh style that took courage and honesty, rooted in trust, and ultimately strengthened the relationship.
Health teams need to be able to disagree too.
Absolutely. Productive disagreement during discussion, but commitment afterwards. The Unilever agree-disagree, but commit idea. Leaders need to welcome feedback without making people fear reprisal, like Ellen Coleman encouraged.
But it's not always smooth sailing. Trust involves hard parts.
For sure. Disappointment, people letting you down, painful truths. Joyce Russell's friend's advice is shared. Do your part with integrity, forgive, even if the other person isn't ready.
And the HGTV story wraps up this section, showing how that EQ fit culture, built on trust, was key to their success alongside their product. The author's personal loss during that time deepened her understanding from just EQ to this deeper EQF.
Exactly. It shows how life itself can forge this fitness. So we've gone from willingness inward to trust connecting outward. What's the final step?
Part 3. Embracing we principles. This sounds like moving beyond oneself entirely.
It really is. Leading from the heart, balancing power with service, focusing on the community, the we instead of just me.
Paul Pullman's quote seems central. A good leader is a good human being in the first place.
Yes. EQ-fit leaders are described as having quiet confidence, prioritizing employee well-being, financial and emotional. They model dignity, grace, stewardship, like Darrell Moan wanting his legacy to be NPR's financial security.
Hope is the first we principle mentioned, more than just wishing.
It's an active willingness to believe in positive outcomes and work for them.
Like Judy Gerard, starting the charter school. Seeing a need and saying yes, despite the difficulty, providing hope through education.
Exactly. Or Father G at Homeboy Industries, hope through work. Nothing stops a bullet like a Job, providing dignity, healing, purpose, transforming pain.
The contrast is stark. A leader lacking hope creates an environment where people just withdraw.
It's described as a lethal absence of hope. Very powerful image.
Then there's generosity of spirit, more than just charity.
Yes, unexpected kindness. Joyce Russell's cherry on top story, paying for her assistant's hair appointment as a funny thank you for hard work. It's that extra touch.
Gratitude is tied into this too.
Deeply. Melly Beattie's quote, "Gratitude makes sense of our past." The author shares being grateful for not getting a promotion because it led to HGTV. Even being grateful for fears that helped her survive.
Finding the good, even in difficulty. And moral courage, doing the right thing despite the cost.
Exactly, maintaining principles consistently. The HGTV Paula Deen example is cited, aligning actions with inclusion values, even if costly. Similar echoes in the Roseanne Barr situation mention.
Ellen Coleman, pushing her direct report to act like a leader, shows solidarity.
That's another example. And Maureen Casey's simple goal, leave things a little better off. It's quiet, principled action.
And the source stresses. Actions shout louder than mission statements.
Absolutely. Who gets promoted? Who gets fired? Do leaders live by the same rules? That's what reveals the real values.
This brings us back to ego versus soul energy. That seems key to this we focus.
Central to it. Ego is needed to function, but EQ fitness means lessening its grip, nourishing soul energy, the right brain's intuition, creativity, connection.
The chart comparing them is useful. Ego has the answer, soul asks the question. Ego is the box, soul is the horizon. Worry versus prayer, job versus purpose.
Right. Soul energy fuels openness, that don't know mind, seeing things fresh, and it naturally fuels we over me.
Mary Ellen Brewington, empowering her brother in the family business, stepping back herself. That's a real world we over me.
A powerful example. And naming it loud helped free her.
Addiction and recovery come up again here. How does that connect?
It's framed as addiction being about running away, numbing, staying stuck emotionally. Recovery is the journey back to the true self, finding grace, community, the we.
And self-respect is the starting point, gained through willingness and trust.
Yes. Joe Zarantinello's perspective adds depth to the soul as a manifestation of God, giving intrinsic worth to that true self.
So emotionally fit people, they influence their organizations, building communities where these we principles actually live.
That's the idea. And the notion that maybe everyone is in recovery suggests this is a universal human journey towards wholeness.
The book has practical scenarios too, for applying hope, generosity, moral courage.
Yes, your turn sections to make it concrete.
And leaders like Becca Stevens and Father G are held up as embodiments of all this.
Absolutely. Their mission is their people. They live kinship, respect, trust, solidarity. They know emotional health comes first, and they tend to their own well-being too. That's leading by example. So emotional fitness ultimately reframes achievement. It's not just the big
It's
wins.
the collective small successes, the relationships, the tending to emotional health, yours and others. It sounds like a more sustainable human way to be.
Okay, so wrapping this up, we've journeyed through these three really interconnected steps from fully human, starting with the inner work of willingness,
Right. Self-discovery, courage, facing things,
then building outwards through trust,
vulnerability, connection, reliability,
and finally reaching towards embracing those we principles.
hope, generosity, moral courage, transcending the self.
And the payoff, according to the source, is this state of emotional fitness, becoming more fully human, which impacts everything: work, leadership, life.
It really feels like a shift away from just smarts or conventional success metrics towards cultivating that inner steadiness and authentic connection.
Yeah, it does. And that leaves us with maybe a final thought to ponder. This journey, like recovery, is often ongoing, isn't it? A constant returning to the self. So what does becoming fully human actually look like for you right now in your context?
That's a good question. And maybe connecting to that football metaphor used in the book, Matthew Stafford taking a knee to really see his team, where might you need to metaphorically take a knee? Is it to look inward with willingness? Or maybe to look outward to truly see others with trust and those we principles? Something to sit with, definitely.